beautiful Alaska lovers. How are you today? I have recently watched a tarot reader on YouTube. Apparently March is going to be a great year for me. And she always says, oh, my beautiful Sagittarian. Hello, my beautiful Alaska lovers. I am Brooke. I am a crab fisherman. If I were a crab, I'd want to have a middle finger for sure. Welcome to my channel. This is our Crab Fishing Alaska series. I've taken a little bit of a break. I was fishing in Oregon for our 2023 winter season, but now in this series, I'm taking you through our 2022 Alaska crab fishing season out west in Alaska. And about two and a half years ago, I absolutely knew pretty much nothing about Alaska. And now, 2 years later, I actually have so much more knowledge of Alaska. I love Alaska so much. We saw so many amazing things last year. And these are things I'm going to be showing you in the upcoming series, Crab Fishing Alaska Saturdays. Everybody has a theme song. I feel like I need something. In this episode, I am going to take you to Kodiak. And we're gonna just boot scoop boogie right along. I feel like I was kind of going slow there, and I want to take you through so many amazing things that we saw along the way. We actually stopped in Ketchikan, Yakutat, Lituya Bay, and then our next stop was Kodiak, where our other crew member Garrett.
There's only two things you really need to know: red right return and turn to port. You're going to court. You're gonna lose.
Love Garrett. Shout out to you, Garrett. We're gonna pick him up in Kodiak. Over the summer, or over this series, I'm gonna be taking you through last summer. I'm gonna show you guys some amazing grizzly bears that we saw on the regular last year. I call them my bears. They're out in the Aleutian Islands, and they are the most beautiful bears. I love to see bears just out in nature doing their thing. Just one of the perks you get when you're out fishing in a remote area in Alaska. Also, we saw tons of whales. We saw humpback whales a lot. We also saw a huge pod of orcas. My dad came up to visit us also. Yeah! What's up, Dad?
Big Sam left Seattle in the year 1901, where the rivers are winding. Big nuggets they're finding. North to Alaska, you go north, the rush is on.
We caught a lot of crabs over the summer, so you'll see us setting pots, rigging pots, hauling pots. I try to do some fun videos along the way of our excursions to the mainland. Thankfully, the bears are here to carve trails. We went to King Cove, Alaska, and there are so many amazing people out there in King Cove. Like this guy right here, his name's Pat Walker.
Be in Hollywood tomorrow.
Let's see if he can get an octopus. Shout out to Pat Walker. I don't think he's watching. He's like 80-something years old.
We're down there and I hold an octopus up in there. That damn thing scorched. They're black. We look like a couple coons, you know. There's white eyes.
There's so many awesome people in Alaska. The last time I showed you guys Alaska, we were actually in British Columbia. We were kind of going along the channel, going north to Ketchikan. Now what we're going to do in Ketchikan is we're going to get some phone cards from a phone company that's called GCI. And there really isn't a lot of service in general, at least where we're fishing and kind of out at sea where we are usually. But GCI was something that we could use in town. So here you kind of see a time lapse of us getting into Ketchikan. It's a little town in the southeast. It's actually really well known in the cruise ship industry. We go from being all by ourselves to like 4 cruise ships shows up this morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning. This touristy little town, and it can have as many as 5 to maybe 7 cruise ships a day. I think some of them anchor up to the north. There's a huge area along the coast though for these massive cruise ships to come in, and that takes up pretty much every day of the Ketchikan summer. It's an explosion of humans. There's cruisers everywhere. Ketchikan goes from a sleepy town in the evening to cruisers, mad cruisers, starting at 6 a.m. I mean mad like crazy. Crazy cruisers, bringing a ton of dollar bills to Ketchikan. Eskimo dolls aplenty. Would anyone like some coyote boots? They're $1,000. Boom, right there. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thanks. All kinds of smoked salmon. They got smoked beef products. I got some caribou sausage. It is a rumor that the cruise ships have bought a lot of the stores in the downtown area and made a lot of them into diamond stores, which is kind of curious. So I guess you get to Ketchikan and you're like, I gotta go buy a diamond. We got our phone cards from GCI. We're styling. Got Alaska's cell phone service and internet. We asked the lady, where's the best fish and chips in town? And she said the Alaska Fish House. Check it out. Supposedly the best fish and chips in town. And I'm a pretty good connoisseur of fish and chips. Crunch factor's there. Oh, smells delicious. See what happens? Halibut's perfectly cooked. Great crunch. I agree. Stop in. Oh, and you buy the beer separately. And then we head north up here through southeast Alaska. As you can see, the Clarence Strait. We're gonna go around Zarembo Island, and then this is one of my favorite parts of southeast Alaska right here. It's actually called the Wrangell Narrows. It's about 22-mile long channel, and the Alaska ferries do sometimes come through here, but the cruise ships cannot go through Wrangell Narrows because it's actually too shallow. It is just gorgeous. The land is so close on either side, and it just kind of really makes you feel like you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, Alaska. On this evening in particular, it was just a beautiful evening. The water was just super calm and you could just see that beautiful sunset. And it's just one of those evenings where you just want to go out onto the bow and just sit there and just look, because everything is just so beautiful. And as you get north of the Wrangell Narrows channel right here, there's actually Petersburg, and we do stop in Petersburg on the way back from Alaska, so I will talk about that a little bit later, but it is a really cute little town. They have bookstores, they have cafes, little touristy town, little touristy shops. From Petersburg, you actually go through the Frederick Sound, then you're gonna go towards Baranof Island and head north on Chatham Strait. I love, love, love this area of Chatham Strait. It is just gorgeous. You have the mountains off to the west. Chatham Strait. Gotta love it here. Here's an old cruiser. But we're actually gonna head to Warm Springs Bay, which is a hot springs that's located right in Chatham Strait. You can see the Warm Springs Bay right here. It's just off to the left on Baranof Island. Pit stop along the way. And there's an option of some hot springs that they put in these tubs, and then it has this beautiful view of the bay, right? And then if you do about a quarter of a mile trek inward, hang a left, and then boom, you have a couple of natural pools right here. It goes out, you have this beautiful view of the raging river right there that actually comes from the lake that is just a little bit further up. So as you're sitting in that tub that's closest to the raging river, You just kind of look at that river, you hear that raging river on the rocks, and then there is a little cold spring that's actually right next to the river. If you did want to do a cold plunge and then jump back into the hot tub, that is an option. From Warm Springs Bay, we actually took off up north in Chatham Strait, and I have to tell you about something funny. It was actually the year 2021. We were headed north up Chatham Strait again, and there's this boat, and he's ahead of us, and I'm in the wheelhouse. Captain Chris is driving, and the boat comes on the radio. You know, are you guys just traveling through? What's going on? And Captain Chris is like, why is he asking us this? You know, we have our whole deck loaded with crab pots. But he's like, no, we're just passing through. The guy says, oh, you know, cause, I was just about to drop my bags. Oh yeah, Roger, yeah, we're just traveling through. He's probably a halibut fisherman who's coming to drop his bags of these long lines in the area. So he was just marking his territory, making sure that nobody was gonna get in the way of his dropping his bags. He's gonna set his bags down. He's been fishing here for 4 days. He's got his bags all over this place. If we were gonna drop our bags, maybe we're gonna drop them right in front of you. Huh? Huh? What are you gonna do about it? So up through Chatham Strait we go. From here, we're actually gonna go west through Icy Strait. This is actually a really, really cool part of Alaska. As you take that left, kind of go west on Icy Strait. It's a pretty long strait, but as you're kind of midway through Icy Strait, off to the north is actually a really, really famous area for cruise ships and tourists alike. John Muir actually did a trip there. So that is a super cool area, that Glacier Bay area. And then as we continue west, we're actually gonna head towards Cross Sound, and then that's by Elfin Cove, and kind of make our way out to the Gulf of Alaska from there. In 2021, when we were kind of almost to Elfin Cove, there was a really, really cool thing that we saw, and it was a humpback whale, I believe. As you can see right here, the whale just kept slapping his tail on the water. I'm not sure if he's trying to stun some fish in the area, or maybe it's a means of communication, like, you better stop that! I will turn the ship around and head back to California. No, this boat is actually, I think it said like National Geographic or something. So I'm not sure if they were filming it, if you will see it in one of their episodes. But I thought that was so cool to actually be somewhere where there's a National Geographic boat filming something super cool. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm here too. So many times I've watched those National Geographic shows, and it's like, I just want to be right there where that little prairie dog or that little fox is, like right now. Let's look at him, you know, how cool is that? As we come out of Icy Strait right here, you can see this beautiful lighthouse. There's a beautiful lighthouse before you get to the Gulf of Alaska, and then we'll go ahead and head northwest with the beach actually. So we're gonna follow that beach line. Now as you're going along the Gulf of Alaska, you're just kind of out there, just seemingly out in the middle of nowhere. So many times I looked out and wondered, you know, how many people have been here before me? You know, how many people have, you know, lived on land? Were there natives before us? You know, what explorers have been here? Because it just looks like so much nothing, like so much of just raw beauty, raw nature out there. You can see some porpoises kind of popping up sometimes to say hello, or mainly the other thing that you see are just other boats, you know, other boats that are in the area passing by. We get to see boats on the Deadliest Catch all the time. Woohoo! Cornelia Marie, got my eye on you. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, they think they're pretty cool, and I'd have to agree with them. They're pretty cool. I have been so excited to tell you guys about Lituya Bay, Alaska. Lituya Bay 2022. This is our maiden voyage. survival suits, a rifle, 2 clam guns, and I got hit on the head with that thing. Durr. Oh, she worked. Whoa, look at that view right there. And we're gonna hope that a brown bear doesn't show up for low tide. I don't want to test out my new gun. Another really interesting thing about this bay, it is known for its mega tsunamis. There's about 4 mega tsunamis that have happened in this bay, and they are the years 1854, 1899, 1936, and the last one was 1958. So what happened was there were 2 huge glaciers at the back of this fjord. You know, I've read some various reports. I think there were about 3 fishing boats in the bay when this huge earthquake happened. I think it was like 10:15 at night. Some massive amount of land, like rock hillside, fell and covered up these fjords. There used to be a couple deep areas on either side, kind of forming a T at the end of this bay, and now, as you can see, it's all filled in with rock. So that actually just happened during the mega tsunami in 1958, when that whole rock slide fell in and actually covered up the whole, those 2 back 2 areas. This massive mega tsunami had sufficient energy to run up the hill slope just opposite of the landslide. There were actually 3 fishing boats anchored near the entrance of Lituya Bay on the day that this mega tsunami happened. One boat, the Sunmore, sunk, and then another boat that had actually a married couple, they were killed during the tsunami. And then there was a 3rd boat with a father and son. Now, after he saw that, you know, a hillside kind of go like this, apparently a huge amount of the hillside just kind of fell off and filled in that backside of Lituya Bay. So then there's a huge tidal wave that actually came 525 meters up the hillside. It said that this massive mega tsunami was traveling about 120 miles per hour. And I just couldn't imagine being anchored in that bay, seeing this huge, massive mega tidal wave just looking at me. The wave was actually taller than the Empire State Building. The 3rd boat, I think it said he had a few minutes before the wave actually hit and he saw it coming, but could you imagine just taking up your anchor and moving your boat and looking at this huge tidal wave? I feel like I would just stick my head in between my legs and kiss my own ass goodbye, but that's not what the Ulriches did on this boat, the Idri. He faced his boat into it, and it's said that, you know, who knows what happened during the time where the wave hit, but somehow they were actually fine, and his boat came out on the Gulf side of Lituya Bay. So this huge tidal wave tumbled him all the way past the spit and out into the Gulf. And it said that they had minor injuries. And I guess there are some boats out there, some fishing boats out there that will not go into Lituya Bay because they're afraid that the next massive tsunami will hit. Because there have been so many over the years. Isn't that nuts? So just the history of this place alone, the mega tsunami, and then you have these beautiful, beautiful mountains that are in there. So I think as of right now, I have a lot of favorites, but Lituya Bay is definitely one of my favorite places in Alaska, and I really look forward to going back someday. So after Lituya Bay, our next stop is actually Yakutat, and Yakutat is just a really, really small area. It's a small town. And that's just, you know, that's just kind of the attitude of the town. That just kind of says it right there. You know, if we're here, we're here. If we're not, we're not. 8:12 in the morning, and we're trying to find some clams. Came over here to this rocky island, and we're trying to find these clam holes right here. Are we gonna get any? No one knows. Butter clams, come on, baby. Hey, there's one. First one in the bucket. Maybe clam chowder for lunch. Yeah, baby. Whoa, what's that? Whoa. That is gnarly. That's cool. Whoa, that's a big one. We're crunching it. We're gonna pass Cordova, which is always exciting. We get some cell phone service for a little while. Hello, I'm still alive. What's going on? Give me something from the outside world. How are you? And the next stop is Kodiak. There he is! Our Pooh Bear! Woohoo! Let's go get him!
Hey, how are you?
Hello! How are you?
Oh my God.
Welcome!
Thank you.
He's here! We're so excited for you to be
I
here!
gotta tell you.
Are you ready?
What happened was we just about landed. And
We saw you.
And then they go up.
We saw you.
It was like, holy shit. And it was sketchy.
He gets in with an adventure story to tell.
It's the same as last year when we had to turn around. You know, he just stuck the power to that plane and he just, whoa.
And now that we have Garrett, now that we're in Kodiak, we are gonna head out west. We're gonna head towards King Cove, and then from there we will be beginning our Dungeness crab fishing summer 2022 fishing season. I know what already happened, but you guys don't. Hope to see you guys next week, next Saturday, and I will be showing you our trip to King Cove, arriving in King Cove. What else? What else? I don't know. There's so many amazing things that are gonna happen. If there's something that you guys have questions about, let me know. And for right now, that is all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Nanu, nanu. Oh my gosh, I did it. Can't believe it.